Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. I am so excited because I am recording this episode right before I leave to go get Botox. This is only the second time I've gotten Botox, and I forgot to give you guys an update. I am obsessed, truly, and I'm just so glad that I have a business that one pays for the Botox, and two, that I can go at 3:15 on a Thursday afternoon. I remember when I would sit at my desk in corporate America, and my biggest thing was like, oh my gosh, I hate the fact that if I want to get my nails done, that if I want to get my hair done, that if I want to tan, that I literally have to wait till after hours, which is like after 6 p.m., which is insane, and you're just exhausted, or I have to book these appointments on the weekend. And that always just made me so upset because I was like, I just want that life of freedom where, like, if I want to do these things, if I want to go to midday Pilates, I can. And my freaking job doesn't take up my whole 9 to 5. So, how I got here is what we're going to talk about in today's podcast episode. So, today we're going to be talking about the 5 things you need to stop doing in your content if you want to sign soulmate clients like yesterday. The truth is, the reason that I'm here talking to you on the podcast is because I decided to start creating content, right? Content has literally been the reason that I've grown my Instagram to 20,000 followers, that I signed 4-figure clients in the DMs without sales calls on repeat. And the reason that I'm able to, one, go to these appointments or travel to Italy, Ibiza, south of France, Cabo, and not being glued to my desk. Yes, those are all places that I've been in the last 2 years. I feel so blessed and so lucky. So today's episode, I'm going to teach you the things that you should not be doing in your content if you want to sign these clients. And the truth is, the version of you who signs more clients and makes more sales in their business is the version of you who works on their content. Make better content, you're going to make more sales. It's just how it works, right? And so, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make in their content is not actually knowing how to create content that converts. And you're leaving tons of money on the table when you're not focusing on creating that better content that converts. The better the content you make, like I said, the more clients you see in your DMs asking for the link. And once I stopped making these 5 mistakes in my content, my income literally doubled in 2 months. And here's what not to do in your content if you want to see the same results. So, one of the biggest things I see is my clients, when I'm reviewing their clients, when I'm reviewing their content, they have a really powerful hook and then they don't know what the fuck to say in their actual post. So, like, maybe the hook grabs me, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this hook is so good. And then I keep reading and I'm just not moved to buy, right? So your audience will read your hook, then they don't actually feel the pull to buy after reading the rest of the content because it's not converting and you have no idea what to say in the rest of your post to convert your audience. This is where the meat and potatoes are. After the hook, right? Which is so important because first we need to hook to get them to read the post in the first place. But we need to do a couple things. We need to show you as the authority. We need to show why people need to buy your product from you and why they need your product specifically. You need to handle their objections. You need to show up and embody and show as the person who someone wants to buy from. If you're not doing these things in your content, right, they're not going to feel compelled to buy. So they might look at your hook and then they're just going to fall off and they're not going to actually read the rest of the post, and then they're not going to be moved into your DMs from that content. And so what I want to do for you guys, and I'm having an upcoming masterclass I'm going to talk about at the end of this freaking episode, is I'm going to actually teach you guys how to not only create an incredible hook, but create the meat and potatoes inside that actually gets your audience to buy for only $27, but we'll get to that at the end. So the second thing, right, is that you're only creating 5-second reels. The truth is, when I switched from 100% reels to 70% carousel posts, I doubled my income in half the time. And don't get me wrong, I still love reels. I still make reels for visibility and creating a face-to-face connection. But what's really going to get your clients in your inbox asking for the link is your carousel posts. The client who is committed, knows they need to invest in themselves, implements and moves, isn't going to waste their time scrolling through reels for an hour. They're looking for a specific solution and they're implementing it. And that's why you save the most carousel posts, right? You actually read through the most carousel posts. And here's the thing, people are like, yeah, but I see people online and they're making tons of money with reels. What's really happening is they have a different trust funnel. So for example, I know a coach who does all reels and then she DMs 50 people a day. And you don't know that from her content, but what's happening is she's actually, she has reels as the first part, but the reels aren't getting her clients to buy. What's getting her clients to buy is the DMing and the DM outreach leading to messaging 50 people a day, right? With my process, I don't DM anyone, right? I don't need to start a sales conversation. If I'm DMing someone, it's because I'm laughing at their story and I'm talking to my ideal audience, right? It's not because I am trying to close a sale. And so, what we find here is that it looks like this person's making money from reels because they have those things that say like, look how much I made from reels this month. But what you're not seeing is they're actually DMing 50 people a day. With my process, you do not have to do that at all. You don't have to DM anyone if you never want to again, unless they ask for the link. And then other people, they put up reels, but then they have a trust funnel built in. So what that looks like is in their caption, they'll say, DM me the word freedom for this free masterclass. And then they'll see people DMing the word freedom and people will go to the masterclass and then they'll buy. The problem with that is you have to get so much freaking engagement, right? You have to get these reels to really pop off so that you have enough people that are filter into the masterclass, because the masterclasses only convert a certain amount of people. So those are the difference with my process. You can use content to convert, people who I have people who go right into DBA, which is a multiple 4-figure offer. I have people who go right into my one-on-one coaching or people who go into my masterclass. And there's no other funnel aspect to it, like DM outreach or, getting them to go to a masterclass in the comments. And so that's what this process uses. Not saying that, maybe I won't have a free masterclass in the future. I've done them in the past. But that's just to say that this process works no matter if you're trying to sell something that's free or multiple thousands of dollars. I just love it. All right. The third mistake you're making is you're not selling in your content. I see this all the time. I feel like we went through a really big phase in the industry when people were like, do not sell in your content. That's, for people just to consume education and blah, blah, blah. The truth is, right, if you are not selling, people don't even know what they're buying. So, and what happens is a lot of people get engagement on their content, but those people aren't going up to their stories. So if you're only selling your stories, you're missing out on so many people in your actual audience. So many coaches preach only selling your stories. But my take is that you're losing out on sales. So I've had people message me right away from my content because they felt a pull. And there is an exact process to do this. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you in the $27 masterclass. It works so freaking well, because that's not just like post your freaking offer and that's how it sells. Like, no, there's other things that you have to do in order to get your clients from your hook to the last page of your slide to in your DMs. And then 4, you give away the how. Oof, this might be one of like the second biggest thing I see my clients do is they give away too much of the how in their content so people don't even feel the need to buy. It's like, why buy the cow when you're giving the milk away for free, So giving free value in your content is amazing, but when you're making every post like it's a paid course or masterclass, then it doesn't actually give your audience a reason to buy, right? We want to create a gap. So when you learn how to teach the what without the how in your content, one, it makes it easier to create content because you're not like making this full-on masterclass and writing all these different notes, right? It makes it so much easier and faster. And this is why when people are like, I sit down and I don't know what to write, it's because they're writing a whole freaking masterclass and trying to just like throw up information on their audience, right? But what your audience really wants to know is why I should sign up for this instead of, how exactly to do it. Because when people pay, they pay attention. And the how, right? So you're supposed to write the what in your let me go back. You're supposed to write the what in your free content, and then the how is in your paid offer. So then your clients go from your content to the DMs for the link. It's that freaking simple. And I teach you again how to do this in my upcoming masterclass, which I'm so excited for. And so the last thing that I see, and the last mistake, and this is a really, really important, and this is the reason I would say that a lot of people don't make it in the industry. And you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but this is probably the deepest reason. So if you've taken a content masterclass or a course in the past, right, and it hasn't worked, it's because it hasn't taught you the biggest piece of sales, which is embodiment, right? You can use any strategy in the world, but if you are not showing up as the person who people want to buy from, it's not going to work. This is why we see this time and time again, right? There's people who invest so much money in themselves, and I'm all about investing. You guys know I've invested over 100 grand. But what happens is they invest in themselves, but they don't actually learn how to become the person that people wants to buy from. This is why I'm teaching this in my paid masterclass. And this is why my masterclass is different than any other freaking content masterclass you've ever been in, because I don't just give you the strategy. I give you the tools to becoming the person someone wants to buy from. This is the reason that you can use anyone else's strategy, right, in the world, and you're like, I'm not getting the same results. If that was the case, if we could just use someone else's strategy and you'd get the results, then we'd all be rich. But the truth is, there's another level inside of you that you have to access. One, it makes writing your content so much easier when you're feeling this way about yourself. But two, then you actually become the person who people want to buy from, and then the strategy starts working. So not only do I give you the incredible strategy in my paid masterclass, but I also give you how to become the person that people want to buy from. And this is what everyone is missing. And so luckily for you, I'm going to show you exactly how to create content that does the selling for you and has you signing clients like yesterday. It's going to literally teach you how to not make these 5 mistakes and change your content in order to become a magnet to your clients. So I am so excited, you guys. It's only $27. The price will be going up, and it's a live masterclass at the end of the month, April 30th. So many of you have already jumped in. It's only been 2 days. I'm getting like message after message after message, and I'm just so excited. And just think about it, $27, that's like I ordered Taco Bell this weekend and spent $30. Like, are you kidding me? $27 to learn all this stuff. It's going to be incredible. And you guys know I don't do fluff. I put my freaking all. People have told me before that they've learned more in one of my masterclasses than 3 months of one-on-one coaching. It's incredible. So inside this masterclass, you will learn how to create content that not only stops your audience scroll, but converts them into paying customers. How to handle your clients' objections in your content so they barely have any by the time that they get to your DMs. Ooh, it's my favorite. How to show up as the person people want to buy from. This is 50% of the reason for your results. And knowing every piece of content you create will get you those results. So, like I said, it's only $27. Imagine being able to have people reaching out all the time from your content because you invested in a $27 masterclass. Like, are you kidding me? But I'm not kidding you. It's real. So even if this is your first content offer or this is your 15th, I promise you, you are not going to learn surface level stuff that you can get anywhere. We're going deep into content creation. So yes, obviously I'm going to teach you how to create a scroll stopping hook. And I'm going to teach you, the types of content you want to make, but we are going to go in further of what to say in the post, who you need to be, and all the things that all the other content forces have left out. I'm so excited for you to walk away from this just like, wow, that was incredible. And I can say that wholeheartedly. I could say that with my chest. I could say that so freaking confidently. So I'm going to leave the link in the show notes, or you can message me the word content on my Instagram, or it's in my link in bio. I am so excited. I love you guys so much. It is time to get Botox. And yeah, as always, if you want to and rate this podcast, I'd be so grateful. And if you want to reach out to me on Instagram just to chat, I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts on the podcast. If you have any recommendations for podcast episodes, I'm always here. So I love you guys so much. Have the best day ever.